Hi there, let's talk golf swings. So as you can see on the screen now, it's me going through the various clubs in my golf set, trying to show you an example of how to strike your clubs. In this video, we'll talk about the target line, the club face, how to keep your arms straight, how to keep your head down, and the various nuances of a golf stance and how to use your body in the swing. The goal of this video is to help you hit your clubs more consistently, with more power, and how to use your body and not just your arms within the golf swing. I will say at this point, I highly encourage you to keep practicing and be consistent because no golf swing was built overnight. With that being said, let's dive in. So what I'll do next in this video is slow down the frame so we can talk about the different nuances of a golf swing and touch on the basic elements. I will say that not all golf swings are exactly the same. People tend to have their own unique way of striking the ball, but what I'll share in this video are the basic elements that you should look at when you're swinging your golf club. So before I get the frames moving and talk through the swing, the first thing I want to address is the target line. The target line is what I'm aiming for. So in this video, there's two things to consider on my target line. The first is where I'm pointing the club or the club face. As you can see, I'm quite aimed at that flag right there. And the second thing is where the tips of my toes are pointing. So what you'll see on the screen now is a line that shows my target line from the tips of my toes. So those are some things that you need to look at before you strike a ball to see where you're aiming. Okay, let's move the frames forward through this swing. So as you can see, I got to my target, which was a good shot. Now we have the side view. And again, I'll do this frame by frame so you can see. So right now we're only talking about the target line and my club face. So as you can see, as we go through the frames, the motions, and there we go, and the ball is gone. In the next few sections of this video, I'll talk about the different elements that go into my swing. Okay, now we have my 9-iron. Let's reinforce what we just discussed. So as you can see where the tips of my toes are pointing and where my club face is pointing. So you have a general idea of where I'm aiming for. The next two elements I want to introduce is you see how my knees are slightly bent and the position of my head. I want you to pay attention to these two things throughout the swing. Okay, let's look at the frames. Now, again, we're just focusing on the knees and the position of my head. So as you can see, the angle that my knees are at changed throughout this swing. And that's just because the weight of my body is shifting throughout the swing. And what you will see 90% of the swing video is that my head stays down facing the ball until I strike it. And that's only when I look up. Usually beginners tend to follow the golf club. And what I mean by that is as soon as you see your golf club coming down, you tend to move your head with the golf club, which I don't advise because then that makes it harder to focus on the golf ball. Okay, now, so we have my 7-iron now. So again, it's just that reinforcement because as you'll see with the golf swing, it's all these elements combined that make a great golf swing. That's why I keep touching on them to remind you. So again, from the first video, target line, where are the tips of my toes pointed? Where is my club face pointed? My knees, as you can see, are slightly bent. Where's the position of my head? So we'll go through the frames again, and I want you to pay attention to all these elements that we've discussed. Okay, now we have the side view of my 7-iron. And I'll introduce another element, which is my feet. As you see, when I start my swing, about 85% of my body weight is on my front foot. The idea is to try not to move your front foot, but as you will see, the harder that you swing, momentum will move your front foot slightly, but the goal is to keep it as still as possible. So as you see throughout my swing, my weight is shifting from my front foot to my back foot and then back to my front foot. Now, what's allowing me to make this movement, if you pay attention here, is my back foot is allowing me to uncoil my swing and allowing me to generate power. Okay, so now we have my 5-iron, and again, I just want to reinforce those elements again. So your target line, your club face, is your lead arm straight? Is your head down throughout your swing? What are your feet doing? And then now I'm going to introduce two new elements, which are your hips and your upper body torso. Okay, so in this next stage of the video of my 5-iron side view, I want you to focus on two things: my hips, how they move throughout the swing, and then my front body torso, how it changes direction throughout the swing, and where my front body torso is facing after I complete my swing. Okay, so now we have my 3-wood, and we're just going to reinforce that knowledge of the terms we've discussed throughout this video, which are the target line, the club face, is your lead arm straight, is your head down throughout most of the swing, what are your feet doing, how are your hips moving throughout the swing, and how is your front body torso moving as you go through the swing. I know these are a lot of elements that I'm mentioning to you, but the more you practice, the more seamless it will become. Right now, it might seem complicated only because I'm pointing out these things, but when you go out and you swing your golf clubs, these are just the things I want you to focus on. And in fact, when you go out to the golf range and you're practicing, ask a friend to take a video of you whilst you swing, so that you can see all these elements that I'm talking about throughout this video. As we continue through this video, I'm just going to keep touching and talking about a few other things as we go. But from this point, I've given you the basic elements to look out for. Okay, so as you close out on my driver, we've discussed the key elements I want you to focus on when you swing. I would put a disclaimer out there. This video is only meant to guide you. I really encourage you to keep practicing, and if possible, take coaching lessons. Have somebody out there with you as you swing so that you can get started. Another key tip I just mentioned earlier in this video is to take a video of yourself and see how you're going through these elements we've discussed through this video. There's a few more nuances with the golf swing that honestly I could probably talk your ear off about. And this is why I encourage you to get coaching so that you can hone in on what you need to address. So with that being said, again, I want to thank you for watching this video, and I hope it's giving you an idea of what to expect when you swing your golf clubs.